his 1966 commencement address to the students of Howard University, Congressman and Pastor Adam Clayton Powell asked, "Can any good thing come out of Howard?" In 1991, I used this same quote from Powell when I delivered the student commencement address at Howard University. I asked, "Can any good thing come out of Howard?" The root of this quote actually comes from the Gospel of John, when Philip asked about Jesus, "Can any good thing come out of Nazareth?" And so on this graduation morning, I ask, can any good thing come out of Park Manor? On this day, we celebrate the academic achievements of boys and girls and women and men. Many among you have labored through tests. You've had exams and idiosyncratic teachers. You've burned the midnight oil, dealt with peer pressure, and a whole lot of drama just to get to this place. To graduate from something means you're going to something. To graduate is to commence. It's to start anew. To graduate is to start afresh. To graduate is to do the new, if you will. To graduate, it means to begin. Yet before we begin something, we have to end something. Graduation means, yes, we begin a new grade, a new school, a new job, but to graduate means we have to end the old grade, put to rest the old school, be done with the old stuff, if you will. If one is to graduate to something, you have to graduate from something. If we're going to move to the next phase, go to the next level, matriculate to that new college, the next university, then we've got to bring an end to some old stuff. We have to bid farewell to some former friends. We've got to say goodbye, good evening, and good day to some old situations. And whereas on graduation Sunday, we normally focus on academic achievement and educational excellence, I want to posit that on this graduation day, we all need to graduate from something. Some of us need to graduate from some people. Graduate. We need to graduate from some crazy behavior. We need to graduate from some foolish, ignorant thinking. Some of us need to graduate from the same old, same old, same old. And on this day, we all need to say, that's a wrap. That's all, folk. To some folk, we need to say, in conclusion, to some things in our lives. Before we commence or begin this next phase of life, we need to end some things in our lives. And so this morning, just one word for you, and then I'm out of here. Closure. The beginning of our text today, Saul, the first king of Israel. Saul, the king who reigned for 20 years, is now dead. During battle, it says there are different stories as to how Saul died. 1 Samuel says that Saul killed himself, whereas 2 Samuel posits that a slave killed Saul at Saul's request. The scriptures vary, but whatever happened, when Saul's body is found, he's decapitated, he's beheaded, and he's left as a public nuisance. Saul is dead, and David is not yet king. Israel is in a state of flux, a period of transition, if you will. Israel is with a king, but yet they are without a king. They have a king, but they don't quite yet have a king. And as we begin this story, Israel is in an interim period. They're in an in-between state. They are almost, but not quite. They are there, but not just there. Saul is the dead king, and David is not quite king. Israel is in a state of flux, a period of transition. And we've all been there. Some of us are still there. Many of us walked in the door there. In this period of almost but not quite, times of gray when it's not really black or white, we've been there, and some of us are still there, secure but not really sure. Times when you want to stay and set up shop because things just don't feel right, but times when you want to go and you're not really sure how to leave. We've been there. Periods of transition, and many of us are, still there. When it's cloudy or nebulous at best. In the middle, not really in or out. In the interim phase, if you will. Not going to the left and, too scared to go to the right. In the interim period, if you will. In between times when you think God is saying this, but you really wonder, is God saying that over there? Israel was in a state of transition, not sure what to do because Saul was dead and David hadn't yet been consecrated as king. Israel was in a state of flux, if you will, not sure how to do, when to do, or if they should do anything at all. Israel, as a political nation, was in a period of transition. And the United States is in a period of transition. We indeed are in a state of flux. You saw all the Supreme Court rulings just last week, telling one group no, but another group yes, giving one group less rights and telling another group you have more rights. Just last week, kicking one group to the curb, if you will, kicking one group in the back, but giving another group a push forward, if you will. Our country, this nation, is in a state of flux, a period of transition. Those of you who are graduating from high school to college, you're in that period of flux, that period of transition. But let me advise you, before you leave to go to college, stop by and register to vote. Take your ID or whatever it is that you have and make sure that you stop by and vote. And tell the Supreme Court that they are a lie. Tell them that the devil is a lie. That you have a constitutional right to vote. That in this country there's room enough for everybody. That at the table of the Lord there's room enough for everybody. As you're graduating from preschool to kindergarten and middle school to high school, you're feeling this period of transition, this state of flux. Many of us have been coming to church Sunday after Sunday, still confused. Bible study, Tuesday after Tuesday, worship after worship, still in a state of personal transition. Many of us are on good ground, but not on solid ground. We've got a piece of the rock, but not the solid rock. Many of us are standing here wondering, what shall I do? What steps should I take? What move should I make? Oh, Lord, help me. What should I do? Israel was in a state of flux, in a period of transition. And so David, realizing that things are unstable, realizing that the ball is in his court, tries to help Israel during this state of flux. And notice what he does. He doesn't demand to be king immediately. He doesn't take the throne by force. David doesn't take advantage of the people. He doesn't take advantage of their mourning. He doesn't use his power to abuse the people. But realizing how fragile the people are, realizing how tender the situation is, David says, God, what do you want me to do? God, should I go to any city? God, should I make any move at all? David says, God, I don't want to hurt the people. I love these are your people. And God, because I love these people, I want to serve these people, and I want to do right by these people. David says, God, I know Saul is dead, and I know I got next. But God, before I make any step, I want to make sure I don't misstep. So what should I do about this situation? Ask yourself, when was the last time you consulted God about your situation? I mean, really, show enough, tell the truth. Did you really ask God before you left one job and took another? Did you ask God what God thought when the bottom fell out and there you were trying to patch it up? Did you ask God how and when and where and how before you made up in your head what you were supposed to do? Did you ask God about what college, what university, what major that you were to undertake before you applied to that college? Did you ask God if you should do anything? Did I ask God, should I do anything before I decided to do what I've done? I mean, be real, you ain't got to nod or nothing, but just ask yourself. Did you consult with the Lord about those decisions in your life? Did God really tell you to date Lisa 2 weeks after you quit Michelle? I'm just saying. Does God approve of you being on the rebound with Eric when Pretty Tony's juices are running all up in your body? I know, it's me again. I mean, really, were you really supposed to apply for another credit card when your credit score is barely 400? I mean, I know some of you looking all strange this morning. I mean, were you really supposed to be out late last night drinking and doing whatever, knowing you just got finished with AA and NA? I'm just asking. Did you ask God? Did I ask God what I should do about this situation?